What's going on YouTube? Q back here again with another video for you. In today's video, I'm about to give an update. So the video that I'm about to do an update from was when I said my 2023 Acura Integra was plagued with quirks and bugs. So does the 2024 Integra still have those? We're about to find out. But this is going to be slightly different because my other one was an A-Spec technology package and this is a Type S. So spoiler alert, this one's going to introduce a couple more things that the other one didn't have. So it's kind of like the things that I hate about the car, but as I said in the other one, I have to give y'all a preface. I don't hate the car, but it does have some things that could leave some room for improvement. So I'm about to discuss those in just a second here. And before I do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, browse the channel. Let's jump into it. Before I dive into it, I'd like to give a shout out to the men of culture. Got Race Car Friends, Blueprint 1 Elite, Hunter Gang Nate. Go check out their channels. They're in the featured section of my channel. So the 2024 Acura Integra Type S, phenomenal vehicle, but it's not without flaws. And I'm about to get right into it because I'm gonna give an update for the last video, but I'm about to start with the new things first. So the first thing I want to talk about is, and for this to be a sports car and for the Civic Type R to be so good, and it has these, the first thing I want to talk about is these seats. They are not supportive, especially on the track when you're driving spiritedly. They're kind of wide, very firm. For this to be a luxury car, they're not comfortable for me at all. Like, it kind of hurts to sit on. It's not like squishy at all. This is the firmest seat I have ever sat in any vehicle. So these seats need an upgrade. I want the Type R seats, and I do not remember my A-Spec technology package being this firm. Like, I know these are racing seats. They're not good at comfort or racing to me, and I kind of slide around when I drove on the track. I don't know why. Why is this a thing? But I do like the black inserts on here. That looks good. My A-Spec had the red inserts, red on red. The black on red looks better to me. But yeah, these seats are not great. I feel like that was a step backwards, especially when the Type R offers such good seats. And have you seen the BMW seats? They got the crotch separator down there. That thing is highly bolstered, and this is like no bolster at all. This is like grandpa car seats almost. So this is about to be a new one. I haven't talked about this before. I wanted to get it sorted out if there was an issue. So this is an NVH problem. So I think it's drone just because this is a 2-liter turbo. This is a different powertrain, so I'm going to notice it more in this vehicle. And there's like NVH's noise, vibrations, and harshness. So I want to say when I'm around like 3,700 RPM to 4,200 RPM in second gear, and it happens in other gears as well, I hear some vibrations along the B pillar on the driver's side, and as well as the passenger side A pillar right over there. I hear and feel some vibration. It's kind of buzzy, and I think it comes from the engine. There's slight drone on here because it does have the resonators deleted from the factory. So with that being said, it's not going to be as quiet. And when I have my sunglasses and the sunglasses holder up there, it definitely, like, I was looking all over the car like, where's this rattle coming from? But this thing, actually it is lined up here with a little bit of soft stuff, but the rattles from the exhaust, it just drove me nuts, so I had to take them out of there. It's not bad all the time, but some days I will hear it, even in comfort mode. Comfort mode and individual mode is what I often drive it in, which is Sport Plus mode. So I'm not about to drive right now, but let's see if it'll happen while I'm in park. And even on initial startup, I hear like a slight rattle, I want to say, actually. So let's go up to like 3,700 RPM, see if we can hear it. Can only rev up to 3,500 RPM, so no, it's not doing it right now, but definitely when you're driving, you'll notice it. Like I said, next to the B pillar right here by the driver's side, it's right in my ear. So I don't know if something's loose or it's a combination of the exhaust is buzzy, to let you all know. It's not a quiet exhaust. It does tend to drone. It's not horrible at all. It's On the scale of 10, it probably Jones at like a 2 or 3, but that's enough to make these noises bounce off the cabin, and it's no bueno. So the next thing that I hate, or an actual, it's not even an improvement, it's something they took away from the car. It makes it a worse car overall, but they took away the memory seat function. So I got these poverty spec buttons over here. See, this is where the memory seats would be. And when they took that feature away, that also removed it to where the passenger side window would tilt when you go in reverse. Now it just stays there. So if you're parking adjacent to a curb, you got to be on your P's and Q's, no pun intended, because that window or that mirror will not tilt at all, which was a nifty function to have. And not to beat a dead horse, there's still no vents in the back seat. We actually have one missing seat in the back seat, and now our passenger seat is manual. I can't even do this. This poverty car problems, man. I gotta put the camera down to move the seat. It's not supposed to be in a luxury car. Camera done fell. Lord have mercy. All right, so to move the seat, gotta pull it from the bottom, and we gotta tilt. Oh my God, that handle don't even feel good. That's my first time reclining it. That feels kind of cheap. And on my side, I got all these power functions, so when I do it, I got the good clicks of the buttons, so you see that. But they took that out of the passenger side to save weight, so this is a race car, not race car. I don't understand why they did it, but I said that in many videos, but that's another thing, the features. I was blessed with the titanium shift knob. This thing, it was 30 degrees outside when I got in here earlier this morning. This thing is frozen, no Elsa, when I get in here, so I'm gonna need to change that. This is not the stock knob. This is an option, but I am going to be changing that out today. So I got the stock shift knob right here, which I'm gonna be changing out. So this will help mitigate some of that frostness. So yeah, and this is not going to be much better. This is like hard perforated-ish looking plastic, but it's going to be better than the solid ball. So I'm changing to get on this cluster. I normally don't drive in comfort mode in any other car I have owned, but I do in this car. And that main reason being, I can actually see what it's doing on here. Or normal mode would be fine too, I guess. I don't know why I don't drive in normal mode, or sport mode. I forgot they upgraded the sport mode in the Integra. But I like to keep the white gauges for my individual mode, because the only reason I don't have this in sport racer red mode is because I can't see with these red shift knobs. It's unclear to see, and I don't even know if they upgraded it. I'm just going for my other Integra. Actually, this is a little bit better, but before I did not drive in this because the needle was like red and I couldn't tell where I was. I think I actually might change that, to be honest. Yeah, let me change that. But I do prefer the individual mode. It's just clean and clear, easy to read. Easier than this, but on the A-Spec Integra, this was much more difficult to read. So this is harping back from the last video on this point moving forward. This fixed guideline and dynamic guideline, that's still a bug on here. Like, it's not, nobody would notice that but me, because I've been in the profession for like 10 years for infotainment screens and things that make sense, what should be implemented and what should not be. So it makes no sense to have the guidelines able to turn off, but let me turn the steering wheel, the dynamic guidelines should not be able to turn on. That's not a good implementation. A user-friendly thing would be if the fixed guidelines are turned off, the dynamic guidelines should be able to be turned off as well. It should be turned off by default. Or if you just want the fixed lines, you should be able to keep it on. But if I turn dynamic guidelines off, it would be static, but yeah, it just doesn't make sense to be able to have dynamic guidelines with no fixed guideline. But when I turn the wheel and if it's at a neutral position, it shouldn't be able to show up at all. You still cannot turn off the headlights unless you have the parking brake on. That's still on the 2024 Integra. Like flicking the thing down to off, even holding it, that doesn't work. So if you want to do a drive-by or leaving your sneaky link's house, you gonna get seen because your light's gonna be blaring, and this thing's got LEDs. Lift back. You see this button right here? That's to unlock the trunk. That's not to pop the trunk open or the lift back open. So that just unlocks it. There's no button on the inside of the car to pop that. You just gotta press the button physically on the back of the trunk. That would have been a welcome upgrade, but you can still only lock and unlock the hatch back there. You can't wave your foot across the trunk. You just physically press the button. So kind of sucks with groceries, or if you just Every other car I know, you can just pop the trunk. Actually, a lot. The GR Corolla doesn't have that either. Is that a Japanese car thing? Like my American cars, you can pop the trunk in all of them. Was another thing. These wipers smacking the window. And I haven't tested that. Actually, I didn't even know how to properly raise the wipers in the last video. So I didn't know it had to go to service mode. So once you turn the car off, just hold the wiper stop up for like 5 seconds and they'll stay up in service mode. You don't want to pull the wipers up because it'll damage the motor. Thanks for the people that said that, because I ain't know. So let's see what happens when we turn the car on. Okay, so the wipers aren't going to smack down on the window. Maybe that was a non-service mode type thing. Actually, if I want to wipe the windows down, they probably will. Okay, yeah, they'll still smack the window, but they won't do it upon startup. And I guess that's a service mode thing. I'm not about to raise the wipers like that just to find out. I could, but I'm not. So I'm happy to say that one of my biggest issues with the Integra was fixed coming into the 2024 model year. I saw it once, but I don't know if it's because I'm taking less trips, but it's easy to see it once you're using like navigation. And what I mean is like with Apple Maps, I got the Apple Maps going on CarPlay. With the instructions on the radio, it would say one thing. And after such a while, like the heads up display, it would display like your miles to the next maneuver. It will get frozen up there, as well as the song up in the RPM gauge. It would get stuck on the song, and once you skip songs, it wouldn't update. So the heads up display would be frozen. This would be frozen. It'll be cool on the radio, but with the heads up display right there, it's easier just to see that just looking ahead. And it's just a bug fix. But I saw that dozens of times. On one road trip, I saw it at least a dozen times. I've only seen that happen once so far, and that is great because that thing used to come up so often. Like I don't know if they fixed the 2023s or if it's only a 2024, if they sent the over-the-air update for it. I have no idea, but I haven't seen it, and I am so happy because it makes traveling a pleasure in this car. And last but not least, we got the most annoying thing, and that's these parking sensors. So let me unleash the e-brake. It just blares. But they're so sensitive, and even like I used to only park in gear, so now I just park with the parking brake now. That feature alone has changed my driving habits across all of my cars, in which you should always use the e-brake from what I'm told, because there's less wear on the transmission still, or if you're on the steep hill, use them both in tandem. So I use the in the GR Corolla, and I use the e-brake in here, but it's still quite annoying. That's why you see me always park backwards in the driveway now, because there's less obstacles. And it's blaring because of my trash can over there. But going into the garage, as soon as you turn the car on, it's just everything screaming at you because every sensor sees something around it, and you can cancel it. If you catch it when it first comes on, just press the button on the steering wheel here. You can cancel it. But I don't even know if you can turn that off. I haven't tried because I still find them useful. But once you're around stuff like pulling into where you normally park at, it's annoying. Being in the parking lot, just sitting there, you just got to use your e-brake. It changed my habit. Still annoying. It doesn't seem as loud. Maybe I've gotten used to it, but man, these chimes be blaring. So that's it with the updates. Like my phone, I've been using wireless CarPlay from here on. Like I have seen that with wireless CarPlay. I finally got a USB-C cable to plug my phone in. Finally upgraded my phone. So I don't know if it's having a new phone, but I haven't had the new phone that long. It's only been a couple weeks. But the old phone, I caught that issue on that phone. I haven't caught it on the new phone, but I will definitely let you all know if I do see it. So I'm strictly wireless CarPlay unless I'm taking those long road trips. So I'll be plugged in directly if I do that. But I've seen it with or without wireless CarPlay. So there's that. But other than that, it's basically the same car. Not much has changed. The biggest problem I had did change, and I changed my habit so I don't have to hear that blaring chimes everywhere in the garage. So it's good that it's got sensors everywhere, I guess. But I don't know. I don't want to turn them off in case something does come up, because it is a safety feature. So just in case something should just happen to pop up, like another person or an animal I don't want to run over, then I will be alerted. But that's my update on the 2024. It's not completely apples to apples, but it's still the same car, and it's got the same skin, the same bones, same infotainment technology in here, just a little bit more horsepower. The exhaust is different, it drones a little bit, And that's why I haven't done an exhaust yet on this car, because I'm hearing things about drone from these aftermarket exhausts. So I'm just going to wait to see what comes to the market, because it actually sounds good the way it is, but I do want more volume. But I'm just waiting because I don't want to ride around in the car that drones, because I cannot stand drone. I like my exhaust to be clean, deep, and loud all at the same time. So that's all I got for you all in today's upload. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, browse this channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.